It is really real today, folks. I'm a day and a half into cold turkey on the cigarettes. I haven't smoked a cigarette since the day before yesterday, which is absolutely crazy to think about. My head's a little loopy, my eyes are a little glassy and watery, but I'm getting through this thing. And the only thing that I'm using is the old patchy patch right here on my arm. Yesterday I used the Nicorette. I'm not doing that today. I probably will if I need to though. Folks, we're not gonna talk about Joe trying to quit the smoking, but kudos to that. And we're also not gonna talk about the fact that Felicity Huffman, one of the celebrity parents of the college admissions scandal, just actually began serving her 14-day excruciating prison sentence just yesterday. But by the time you guys are seeing this video, she's probably at least halfway through that excruciating amount of time. My God, that's almost a life sentence they gave this woman. A Hollywood A-lister at that, having to wake up at 5:30 a.m. for count and then chow, possibly having to partake in prison commissary as well. How dare the system. I was actually going to do a video about that, but I found something even better that I want to share with you guys, folks. And if we didn't address this story, this thing would probably get swept up underneath the rug and the radar. And folks, it is my prerogative. And folks, it is my duty to make sure that that does not happen. This story is breaking news out of the CDCR, the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, folks. And what this story circles around is this individual right here. Now, I know that this is only an artist rendition of this individual, but folks, I want to introduce you to a man by the name of Chuck Patillo. I was almost about to say Chuck Pagano, but he was actually an NFL coach, not the same person. This guy, Chuck Patillo, is a 14-year vet of what is referred to in California as the Prison Industry Authority. And what exactly the Prison Industry Authority is out in California is an organization or an agency that trains inmates for technical careers and also probably and possibly culinary arts type of job training as well, like how to cook in a fancy restaurant or a Burger King or a McDonald's. You're probably able to get your ServSafe certificate through them, and I'm quite sure to work in any type of fast food restaurant, don't you need to have that? I honestly don't know. The only fast food I've ever worked at in my life was Hardee's. I worked there for 2 days before I realized, forget this! I'm not making Monster Burgers no more. I don't even know how to make them for real. Boy, the Monster Burger from Hardee's, that is a throwback right there. It used to be the best hamburger on the planet. But getting back on track about this particular story, folks, I want to read you this headline pertaining to this 14-year vet, Chuck Patillo of the Prison Industries Authority out in California. And Chuck Patillo actually just retired. And folks, he did so with an extravagant, elegant black tie affair. It almost reminds me of that TV show. What was that show, My Sweet 16, that used to come on MTV where they had like the big blowout $1 million Sweet 16 parties? I'm pretty sure that's what it was called, My Sweet 16. The story almost reminds me of that TV show, folks. And the headline says, California Prison Agency spent $12,000 on retiring manager's farewell party record show. For once, my fingers do not taste like cigarettes. Folks, the first thing that I want to mention about this headline right here, about this $12,000 extravagant Sweet 16 retirement party from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation is, where y'all think they got that $12,000 from? A California prison agency spent $12,000 in public money. What in the world is public money? Can somebody please give me a definition of what that is? Because what it sounds like to me is money that is allocated and meant for the Prison Industries Authority, possibly and probably meant for and to be used to help further train prisoners to come home and to be able to get either a technical type of a job or a culinary type of a job, and probably a list of any other type of jobs that could come from whatever type of training the Prison Industries Authority in California offers and provides. But this agency spent $12,000 in public money on a retirement party with hundreds of guests for a longtime manager earlier this year, according to the spending records. And something absolutely insane to mention about this, folks, they had this retirement party, this $12,000 extravaganza and blowout at a damn prison. And I'm pretty sure this event took place at the Folsom State Prison. In fact, the story says women, I guess Folsom has a women's prison as well, Women in a prison culinary program prepared lasagna, salad, and dessert for the event's 300 guests. I wonder if any of them women in that program got some of that food. I'm quite sure that they did. If they weren't allowed to get it, they better have been sneaking it. Because I know damn well if it were me, I'd be doing that. Y'all having some lasagna and you don't think I'm gonna get none? Women in the prison culinary program prepared lasagna, salad, and dessert for the event's 300 guests. About 24 agency employees took time out of 2 work days to prepare a Folsom State Prison warehouse for the event. 24 workers took time out of 2 different work days. I wonder if the prisons where they were working at were on lockdown during that time because of the potential that they were probably short-staffed. And why are we on lockdown? And why it looked like they got the Emmys taking place over there in that warehouse? Damn, they having a party at the prison? No. Oh, you got to be state-struck. And you work there. Now, one of the craziest things that the story mentions is the usage of this $12,000 in public money. And folks, when you think about like what they could have used that money for, I mean, $12,000 could really go a long way at a retirement party. When you hear one of the most expensive things that was purchased for the usage of this retirement party, I'm quite sure you're going to think the exact same thing that I thought. Y'all about as dumb as a... What? Let's run through the list of where this money went, folks. The party's biggest expenditure was the rental of 2 3-restroom stalls from Royal Restrooms, a company that describes its units as upscale and the best units available in the industry. Outfitted with rugs, flowers, artwork, and mints. I ain't eating no mint up out of no porta-john. And folks, these stalls cost a whopping $5,731 according to the invoice. Now, folks, of course, I had to take a look at what these Royal Restrooms really look like, and damn, was I ever impressed. And folks, take a look at this picture right here of one of the units that they offer. My God, this damn thing looks like a mobile home. This thing looks bigger than some mobile home. This thing looks bigger than what some guys come home from prison to live in. And I'll be damned if the inside ain't about the nicest damn bathroom I've ever seen. I ain't never seen no porta-john that looks like that. But for $5,731, it damn sure better look like that. They done spent damn near half the money on the retirement party on these 2 porta-johns. Other money that was used for this retirement party went to 30 tables, 300 chairs, heaters, and serving equipment from some party rental place for $2,600, plasticware, coffee makers, decorative centerpieces for tables costing another $2,100, and the total cost that was spent in food. Now, mind you, this was the only expense that was actually a part of what this Prison Industries Authority is all about, the Culinary Arts Program. And the only money of the $12,000 that they done took from this training school for prisoners that they actually put back into it was the cost of the food that totaled to about $987. The total party's invoice was $11,700. Folks, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, something ain't adding up about this. They called this $12,000 public money, but it damn sure sounds to me like they done took out of this fund that is supposed to be used, or probably supposed to be used, to train prisoners. And they done spent this extravagantly on a retirement party for this vet of this company, Chuck Patillo. And getting back to this guy and this picture that I'm showing to you right here, this artist rendition. This is actually from the invitation, which was RSVP only. I'm telling y'all, they had a black tie affair up inside of the prison in an empty warehouse. Can you imagine what the other prisoners who were seeing this were thinking? And again, the picture on this invitation is, what somebody drew of this guy. I wonder if it was a prisoner that they commissioned for this artwork right here. Hey, look, I be noticing that you be drawing real good and all. I'm gonna give you a honey bun. And not one of them commissary honey buns neither, but one of those out of the staff break room vending machine. I'm gonna give you 1 honey bun to draw this dude right here. Bet. Have it for me at lunchtime. I'll be back. Yeah, I really wonder what all of the prisoners at this prison were thinking as they were seeing this event unfold right before their eyes. And there is the possibility they might have not even seen this event taking place because they were potentially on lockdown. But if they did, I really wonder what they would have thought about all of that, especially seeing how they were using the vehicles that were for this agency to shuttle guests back and forth to the warehouse where the luncheon was held at. They said they had marketing employees prepare a dozen posters with sketches of Petillo. Who the hell was this guy? Is he the next presidential nominee? There was no alcohol that was served at this event. They said after the event was over, a gathering was scheduled at a local brewery. Anybody who works at a prison, I imagine they're a craft beer drinker. I don't know why I threw that in there. I don't particularly like craft beer. When I think about people who drink craft beer, I think of like a certain type of a person, and not a bad person, but like a certain type of a person. I'm not a craft beer type of a guy. I'm a felon. That means I drink the Bud Light, but I'm quite sure there are some felons who drink craft beer as well. And the reason this story would make the headlines is because a local newspaper in California called the Sacramento Bee, I think is where I got this story from. They did an investigation into this. They got wind of this. And now this has opened an entire can of worms. There's some big time investigations taking place into this retirement party. And the biggest thing, of course, was this money used inappropriately. The story says this event and its expenditures are currently under investigation, including whether any of the expenses associated with it were appropriate to pay for with the public funds. They also say that in the event the investigation determines they were not, they will seek to recoup the funds and hold those responsible accountable. You're going to jail. Y'all done committed embezzlement damn near. Y'all done stole from some prisoners to have the Emmy Awards show for some dude Chuck Petillo and his retirement party. Was it worth it? Were the prisoners getting to eat good on that day? Probably not. And thinking even deeper into this, you only got a job because there's people in prison. Had it not been for them messing up their lives and going to prison, you wouldn't have that job to be retiring from, to have that $12,000 retirement party with those $5,700 porta-johns added. Prisoners keep you employed and you done stole the money from the prisoners, but of course, they try to clean that up, folks. Now, in terms of this Prison Industries Authority, they say that this agency sells goods and services to government departments and entities. It doesn't draw money from the state's general fund, according to an agency report. So I guess what they're trying to say right here is this money came from them selling goods and services. But that still doesn't explain the fact, or it still doesn't clean up enough the fact that, this money that they make from selling goods and services is in all likelihood supposed to be used for this training of inmates. Y'all wasn't worried about doing no training on that day old Chuck Petillo was retiring. Y'all were trying to have one of them events like on My Sweet 16 like used to be on MTV. Folks, this was a story that I felt like I had to address. More corruption up inside of the prison, more usage of funds that ain't being used for the right things. This is not the first story that we've heard of something like this, and it's guaranteed not to be the last. It's definitely one of the most craziest, because you think if you're going to embezzle $12,000, you might find a better use for it than spending damn near half of that money on some damn outhouses. Folks, I really want to hear what you guys think about all of this, and if you like this video, please leave a like and a comment letting me know just that. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!